My ex-mother-in-law said my womb was too dark for children to survive. She forced me out of my marriage. Brought another woman to replace me. A lighter woman. From a good family, as she put it. I left with nothing. But 11 years later, karma found her. In the most unexpected place. With the most unexpected witness. My name is Sandra. And this is the story of how my skin tone became a weapon against me, how I lost everything, and how karma delivered the sweetest justice I never had to plan. It started 11 years ago when I was married to a man named Stan, and his mother, Fidelia, made it her life's mission to break me. I need you to understand something about me first. I'm what people call an ebony beauty. Dark skin that glitters in the sun, as my husband tells me now. I'm proud of it today. But back then, it became my greatest vulnerability. Stan and I met in the university. He was charming and ambitious. He said he loved me. We got married young, full of dreams and plans. We started businesses together. A logistics company. A small import business. We were building something. Then we started trying for children. Year 1 passed. No pregnancy. Year 2. Nothing. That's when Fidelia, my mother-in-law, started her campaign. Fidelia was a retired director in the civil service. Not wealthy but influential. Connected. Respected. And she wielded that respect like a weapon. First it was subtle. Sandra, maybe you should see a doctor. Just to check. You know, at your age. I was 26. Then it got more direct. Sandra, I think your job is too stressful. Stress affects a woman's hormones. You should quit and focus on giving my son a child. I loved my job. But Stan agreed with his mother. Just for now, Sandra. Just until we have a baby. Then you can go back. So I quit. I stayed home. I waited. Year 3. Still nothing. That's when Fidelia stopped being subtle. I'll never forget the family gathering where she said it. We were at her house. Stan's relatives were everywhere. She was serving food and someone asked, Fidelia, when will Sandra give you grandchildren? She looked at me, smiled, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, well, you know, maybe her womb is too dark for an embryo to survive in for 9 months. They say light attracts life. The room went silent. Then someone laughed. Then another. It was a joke. Sandra's dark womb. Too dark for life. I looked at Stan, waiting for him to defend me. He looked down at his plate. That was the moment I knew I was alone. After that, Fidelia got bold. She started attending business functions with Stan. Functions I used to attend with him. Sandra needs her rest, she'd tell people. She's trying to conceive. Can't have her exhausting herself. So I stayed home while my husband and his mother went to dinners, conferences, launches. Together. I should have seen what was coming. Her name was Claire. Light-skinned. Educated. From a good family, as Fidelia kept saying. She worked in one of the companies Stan did business with. Stan started coming home late. Then later. Then not at all. When I confronted him, he was defensive. I'm building our business, Sandra. Someone has to work since you're at home resting. Resting. As if I'd chosen to quit my job. Then Fidelia made her move. She called a family meeting. Invited everyone except me. When I heard about it later, she told them, Stan deserves children. Sandra has tried, but clearly it's not God's will for them. There's a woman. A good woman. From a good family. She can give him what Sandra cannot. 2 weeks later, Stan asked for a divorce. Not asked. Told. My mother is right, Sandra. We've tried. Maybe it's time to accept that this isn't working. Claire is. She's willing to try. And my mother thinks. Your mother thinks. I interrupted. What do you think, Stan? He looked away. I think I deserve to be a father. The businesses we'd built together? He kept them. Said they were in his name anyway. Gave me a settlement. Enough to survive. Not enough to thrive. I packed my things and left. Fidelia stood at the door as I walked out. She didn't say anything. Just smiled. A small, satisfied smile that said, I won. I was 29 years old. Divorced. Labeled barren. Stripped of my businesses. My dignity. My future. But not my will to live. I won't lie and say the first year was easy. It wasn't. I cried. I questioned God. I questioned myself. But I also started over. I got a job. Nothing glamorous. Administrative work at a mid-sized firm. But it was mine. I was working again. Moving again. Then 6 years after my divorce, I attended my university reunion. I almost didn't go. What did I have to celebrate? But something told me to show up. That's where I met Peter. Peter was 3 years my senior in university. I'd never known him in school, but he said he knew me. He'd seen me the day my father brought me back for my first year. He said my innocent, young, beautiful face attracted him, but he had a girlfriend then. So he admired from afar until he graduated. Seeing me at that reunion, he said, rekindled a fire he'd thought was dead. He pursued me like I was a teenager. Flowers. Calls. Showing up at my office with lunch. When someone told him I'd been married before, he didn't care. Sandra, he said, I don't care about your past. I care about your future. And I want to be in it. I fell. Not quickly. But I fell. Peter was patient and kind. He was tender in ways I'd never experienced. And when it came to protecting me, he was fierce. At home, he treated me like I was made of gold. At work, he was known as the Rock, the best divorce lawyer in the city. Tough. Unshakable. We got married. And for the first time in my life, I felt safe. Then I got pregnant. 3 months into our marriage. Just like that. Barren, they'd called me. But Peter's love seemed to unlock what fear had closed. I had our first child. A boy. Then a girl. Then another boy. 3 children. Conceived in love, joy, and happiness. Every day with Peter was an experience. But Thursdays at 1 p.m. were sacred. That's when I'd visit his office. Bring him lunch. Sit with him. We'd talk and laugh about everything and nothing. Sometimes just be there in comfortable silence. Peter rearranged his entire schedule for those Thursday visits. Meetings moved. Calls postponed. Nothing interrupted our time. It was on one of those Thursdays that Karma walked through Peter's office door. But let me tell you what happened to Stan first. Because Karma didn't just knock on his door. She walked in, sat down, and made herself comfortable. Stan married Claire. They had children. 4 of them. 2 boys and 2 girls. Perfect family. Perfect life. The businesses we'd started together? Still running. Still profitable. Stan was doing well. Then their youngest son had an accident. Stan was alone with the boy when it happened. He rushed him to the hospital. The child needed a blood transfusion. Fortunately, his old university friend, Dr. Frank, was on duty that day. Don't worry, Stan, Frank assured him. We'll take care of him. Let me run your blood work so we can get the transfusion started quickly. Stan was eager to help. Rolled up his sleeve. Ready to save his son. The tests came back quickly. But Frank's face changed when he saw the results. He pulled Stan aside. Away from the nurses. Away from listening ears. Stan, we need to talk. Privately. They stepped into an empty consultation room. Frank closed the door. His face was troubled. Not the face of a doctor delivering routine news. The face of a friend about to break someone's heart. Stan, your blood type is O negative. All right then. So we can proceed. Frank shook his head slowly. The boy's blood type is AB positive. Stan waited. Not understanding. Stan, I'm telling you this as your friend, not just as your doctor. It's genetically impossible for you to be this child's biological father. O negative parents cannot produce AB positive children. It's basic genetics. The world stopped. Stan kept his cool. Barely. Waited for Claire to return with the other 3 children. She had traveled with them to see her mother. He didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, he secretly ran paternity tests on the other 3. None of them were his. Not one. All 4 children. Same father. Claire's boyfriend. A man she'd been secretly funding with Stan's money. The devastation was complete. Stan filed for divorce. Claire, brazen to the end, fought for half of everything. 50% of the businesses Stan had built. The businesses I had helped him start. That's when Stan's lawyer told him, you need the best. You need the Rock. And that's how my ex-husband ended up in my husband's office. Peter came home that evening and told me about the new case. A man whose wife had 4 children. None of them his. Sounds messy, I said. It is. His name is Stan. I froze. Peter noticed. Sandra, you okay? Stan? What's his last name? Peter told me. It was him. My ex-husband. Peter was quiet for a moment. Then, do you want me to decline the case? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Then I smiled. A mischievous smile. No, I said. Take it. This is business. As long as you're comfortable. Peter studied me. This won't affect you? I shook my head. Actually, working with Stan might be more painful for him than for me. He'll know he's at my mercy to save his wealth. Every meeting, every document, every decision, he'll be reminded of what he lost. Peter smiled back. Then I'll take it. 2 weeks later, I showed up for my Thursday 1 p.m. visit. I walked into Peter's office building with our 3 children. They'd convinced me to bring them that day. Wanted to surprise their daddy. As we walked toward Peter's office, the kids ran ahead, giggling, excited. I heard them before I saw them. Daddy. Daddy. They burst through the door, hugging Peter before I even got there. I walked in, smiling, holding the lunch I'd brought. And that's when I saw her. Fidelia. Sitting across from Peter's desk. Mid-sentence. Telling him about her son's failed marriage. About how that wicked woman Claire had deceived her poor boy. She was looking at the children. Smiling. Admiring them. Your children are beautiful, barrister, she was saying. So blessed. So, then she saw me. Their mother. All the color drained from her face. Her mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. She whispered my name. So soft only I could hear it. Sandra. I smiled. Walked to Peter. Kissed his cheek. Sorry I'm late, love. Traffic. The children were chattering, showing Peter drawings they'd made. Fidelia just stared. At me. At the children. Peter. She stood. Shakily. I should go. She never came back to Peter's office. Peter was brilliant. Of course he was. He secured most of Stan's wealth. Claire got 15%. Not the 50 she'd demanded. 15. Stan found out later who Peter's wife was. Who the mother of those 3 beautiful children was. The children he'd called impossible. The wife he'd abandoned because his mother said her womb was too dark. From what I heard later, Stan blamed his mother. They had a bitter, ugly fight. He disowned her. Told her he never wanted to see her again. When Fidelia fell ill months later, Stan didn't visit. Didn't call. Nothing. Now she's developed dementia. And apparently there's one part of her memory that stays evergreen. Me. My children. That day in Peter's office. She tells anyone who'll listen about the daughter-in-law who came back from the dead with 3 children. Stan can't stand to be around her. Because she makes him relive it. Over and over. As for Stan himself, he's a shadow. No wife. No children. Just businesses and regret. Me. I'm living my best life. Peter still rearranges his schedule for Thursday 1 p.m. Our children are thriving. We're expanding our family, maybe 1 or 2 more if God wills. Every morning, Peter tells me my skin glitters in the sun. He says I'm the most beautiful woman he's ever seen. I believe him now. Because I see it in his eyes. In our children's eyes. My womb wasn't too dark. It was just waiting for the right light. And Karma didn't need my help. She just needed time. Fidelia wanted grandchildren from a good family. She got nothing. Stan wanted children. He thought he had 4. He has none. Claire wanted 50%. She got 15. And me. The woman they said was barren? I have everything. 3 children. A man who worships me. A life I built from ashes. Sometimes people ask if I feel bad for Stan. For Fidelia. I don't. Not because I'm cruel. But because I didn't cause their pain. Their choices did. Fidelia chose cruelty over kindness. Stan chose his mother over his wife. Claire chose deception over honesty. I just chose to heal. To rebuild. To love again. And Karma? Well, Karma chose to remind them exactly what they threw away. I'm Sandra. My womb was never too dark. It was just waiting for the right season. The right man. The right love. And now it's overflowing.